Hi everyone, it's Julie here, your pet grief expert. In this video, I'm going to be talking about how you can tell if your children are affected by grief. How do you know? If they're the sort of children that will say, yeah, I'm fine, it's fine, but you suspect they're not, how do you know? Well, some of the reasons is that they just start behaving out of character, or some of the ways that you can tell. So, if they're normally a very quiet child and suddenly they're very boisterous and they're argumentative and they get into trouble at school, that's out of character. Something's wrong. They're probably holding the feelings in. On the other hand, if they're normally the life and soul of the party and suddenly they've gone quite quiet and withdrawn, or they're shutting themselves in their room all the time when normally they like to be around the family, that's something that's different to their usual behaviour. Now, there are ways that you can try and draw out how they're feeling. And it might be they don't want to talk about it because it feels uncomfortable. They don't want to get upset. They don't want to see you upset. Perhaps they feel like they should be grown up and not be crying. But it is definitely better out than in. So you can get them to come and speak to you as though they're doing you a favour. So by letting you speak about how you feel, and then they'll need to join in the conversation and they can say how they feel. But you can say that, you're doing it because you're upset, and it would really help if they would just listen to you because you know that they're grown up enough to understand. All those kind of things that you can say. You can get them to draw pictures or write poems or stories depending on their age. So that's always a good way of getting their feelings out. And sometimes you can tell by what they've written or what they've drawn how they're feeling. It might be they don't want to show anybody what they've written. And as long as they're getting their feelings out, that's probably fine. If you say that you're not going to read what they've written, then you must stick with that. But it's better not to promise something, to encourage them to read it or to let you read it. Or perhaps you can do some writing and compare it to their writing. One of my clients did a great thing. She got her children to see the pet as a kind of a character, almost a cartoon character. And if we say the name of the pet was Fluffy, because I never reveal any names even of the pets, but if we pretend the name was Fluffy, and the book was called The Adventures of Fluffy, and this Fluffy was going and saving the day. He was going out, and I think he stopped a shoplifter. I mean, it was a cat. I can't remember how they said he did it, but the children were able to do that, and they were able to create this character in their own mind and get it out of them, get all their feelings out. And it led them to talking about how they were feeling. And that is really, really important. If you can't get them to do anything like that, you can teach them to tap. And if they think it's ridiculous and they don't want to do it, again, you can say, well, can you just help me and practice with me, because it will help me help you yourself. And then when they're doing it with you, but they'll get some benefit as well. So I'm going to teach you how to do a particular routine that anybody can use, any age group. You can't get it wrong. You can't, it's not dangerous. Children can use it, grown-ups, any age group can do it. And there's only 4 points that you need to remember. So I'm going to take my glasses off so you can see. So you've got the third eye point. So that's kind of in the middle of your eyebrows there. You've got the side of your eye. There's like a little dent. And then under your eye is another little dent. And then here, the collarbone. Now you want to be where the knobbly parts are. And they're usually where you would tie a tie, but to the left or right. Now, it doesn't matter whether you go left or right, it doesn't matter which hand you use. And if you're not sure you're getting the right place, you can even use your whole hand like that, just to make sure that you get it. And then we're going to finish off the sequence by getting you to grab your wrist. And as you grab your wrist, I want you to say the word peace and just relax. And when you're saying that word peace, I want you to think of somewhere or something you've done that makes you feel good, that makes you feel peaceful or happy or relieved or just good about yourself. And it might be somewhere you've been on holiday. It might be somewhere you used to go with your pet. If it was your pet was a dog, perhaps you went in the woods and you loved it, or on the beach. Or it might just be something you've enjoyed doing with the family. Now, when you're doing this with your child, get them to have their own place or their own thought for peace, because theirs is going to be different to yours. As we tap each point, I'm going to teach you some things to say. And you don't tap for a set amount of times. You don't count how many times you tap. It's literally as long as it takes you to say the phrase, and then you move on to the next point. So before you start, have a think and realise just how bad you're feeling, or get your child to say how bad they're feeling. You know, on a scale of 1 to 10, how upset are they? Or if you're pretending, how upset are you? Is it 10 where you're absolutely distraught? Or is it, 4 or 5 where sometimes you feel really bad, but at the moment it's not too bad at all? And then you're going to ask them again at the end, and so you'll be able to see the difference. So we'll tap the points, and then I'm going to teach you the things to say. Remember, what your child says may be different to you. All right, so you tap and say something along the lines of, oh, I'm really missing my pet, whatever their name is, Fluffy, but just let that feeling go. Let all that sorrow go. All the anxiety go. Just release it. Release all that pain, that emotional pain, that guilt about the decision I had to make. Just let it go. And go back around again. All those feelings. Let them just disappear. Let them go. Let them vanish. Don't need it anymore. Any thoughts or feelings associated with the death of my pet or the anxiety, any worries about it, just let that go too. Just all those feelings go. And then right at the end, you're going to grab the wrist and go, peace. And think about that lovely, peaceful thought. And again, remember, your child is going to be thinking different things to you, and that's fine. They may be saying different things. They might even want to say it in their head if they're too embarrassed to say it out loud. And it is better to say it out loud, but saying it in their head is better than not doing it at all. And then get them to rate how they're feeling. How upset are they on a scale of 1 to 10? So remember, you've got the stories, the pictures, you've got helping you with your grief to get them out. You've got the tapping, all those things, and notice if their behaviour has changed. Even if they say they're all right, notice if their behaviour has changed. And I hope that this has helped you. If you or your child need some extra help, have a look in the other videos, book for a free initial consultation. Have a look on the Facebook page, Julie Wood, Pet Grief Expert. There's loads of tips and hints there. And I'll see you on one of the other videos.